Baba Yaga is one of the most mysterious and fascinating figures in all of Slavic mythology, a character who has frightened, puzzled, and intrigued people for centuries. Deep in the heart of ancient forests, far from villages and human safety, her presence is felt as something both terrifying and strangely powerful. She is not simply a witch in the way many modern audiences might imagine, but rather a complex, multi-layered figure who represents something much deeper, something tied to nature, transformation, and the unknown. To understand Baba Yaga, we first need to step into the world where her stories were born. Slavic mythology developed across vast regions of Eastern Europe, including what are now Russia, Ukraine, Poland, and Belarus. These lands were once covered in dense forests, where travel was dangerous, and the line between the natural and supernatural felt thin. People believed that spirits lived in rivers, trees, and even in the air itself. It was a world where the unknown was not just an idea, it was something you could encounter at any moment. In that world, Baba Yaga emerged as a figure who embodied the dangers and mysteries of the forest. Her name alone carries meaning. The word Baba often refers to an old woman or grandmother, but it can also suggest someone strange or even unpleasant. Yaga is more uncertain in origin, but many scholars believe it is connected to words meaning fear, horror, or something sinister. Together, her name suggests something like fearsome old woman, but even that doesn't fully capture who she is. Unlike many characters in folklore, Baba Yaga is not strictly good or evil. She exists somewhere in between, and her behavior often depends on the person who encounters her. This ambiguity is one of the reasons she has remained so compelling over time. One of the most iconic aspects of Baba Yaga is her home. She lives in a hut that stands on enormous chicken legs, deep within the forest. This hut is not just a strange detail, it is central to her identity. The house can move, turn, and even respond to commands. In many stories, a traveler must speak a magical phrase to make the hut turn its door toward them, allowing entry. The imagery of the hut is both bizarre and symbolic. Some historians believe it may be connected to ancient burial practices, where bodies were placed in raised structures to protect them from animals. Over time, these structures may have transformed in folklore into something more fantastical. The chicken legs give the hut a sense of life, as if it is not merely a building but a creature in its own right. Surrounding the hut is often a fence made of human bones, with skulls placed on top. These skulls sometimes glow, lighting the area with an eerie, supernatural light. This detail reinforces the idea that Baba Yaga is connected to death, or at least to the boundary between life and death. Her appearance is equally striking. Baba Yaga is typically described as an old, thin woman with sharp features, a long nose, and iron teeth. She's often portrayed as ugly or frightening, but there is power in her image. She's not weak or helpless. She's strong, independent, and completely in control of her domain. One of the most unusual aspects of Baba Yaga is how she travels. Instead of riding a broomstick, she flies through the air in a giant mortar, using a pestle to guide her. As she moves, she sweeps away her tracks with a broom, ensuring that no one can follow her. This method of travel is unique and adds to her otherworldly nature. It also emphasizes her connection to everyday objects, transformed into something magical and strange. Baba Yaga is often associated with powerful forces. In some tales, she is served by 3 mysterious riders, one dressed in white, one in red, and one in black. These riders are sometimes interpreted as symbols of dawn, the sun, and night. Their connection to Baba Yaga suggests that she may have control over time, or at least over the cycles of the day. In many stories, Baba Yaga appears as a dangerous and even deadly figure. She is known to capture and eat people, particularly children. This aspect of her character likely reflects ancient fears of the forest, of starvation, and of the unknown dangers that lay beyond the safety of the village. For parents, stories of Baba Yaga may have served as warnings to children not to wander too far from home. However, If we look more closely, we see that Baba Yaga is not simply a villain. In many tales, she acts as a tester or a judge. When a hero or heroine comes to her, she often sets them difficult or even impossible tasks. These tasks might involve cleaning, sorting grains, or performing magical chores. At first glance, this seems cruel, but there is a deeper meaning. The tasks are tests of character. They reveal whether the person is patient, respectful, and resourceful. Those who fail, who are lazy, rude, or arrogant, are often punished, but those who succeed are rewarded. Baba Yaga may give them magical items, valuable advice, or help them continue their journey. In this way, she functions almost like a gatekeeper. She stands at the boundary between the ordinary world and a deeper, more dangerous realm. To pass her test is to prove oneself worthy of transformation. One famous type of story involves a young girl sent into the forest, often by a cruel stepmother. The girl is expected to fail and never return. When she reaches Baba Yaga's hut, she is given tasks that seem impossible. But through kindness, cleverness, or help from magical allies, she succeeds. In the end, she returns home not only alive, but stronger and wiser. These stories suggest that Baba Yaga represents more than just danger. She represents growth through challenge. The forest is a place of fear, but also a place of learning. To survive it, one must change. Scholars have proposed many interpretations of Baba Yaga's role in mythology. One common idea is that she represents nature itself. The forest she inhabits is wild, unpredictable, and indifferent to human needs. It can provide food and shelter, but it can also kill. Baba Yaga embodies this duality. She can help or harm, depending on how she is approached. Another interpretation is that she represents death and rebirth. Entering her domain is like crossing into another world. Those who encounter her often undergo a transformation, leaving behind their old selves. In this sense, Baba Yaga is not just a figure of fear, but also a symbol of change. She can also be seen as an example of the crone archetype, a wise old woman who exists outside of society. In many cultures, older women were both respected and feared. They were seen as having knowledge that others did not, particularly knowledge related to life, death, and the natural world. Baba Yaga fits this role perfectly. She is isolated, powerful, and not bound by social rules. What makes Baba Yaga especially unique is her independence. Unlike many female figures in traditional stories, she does not rely on anyone. She lives alone, makes her own decisions, and answers to no one. This independence can be seen as both empowering and unsettling, especially in the context of the societies that created these stories. Over time, Baba Yaga has continued to evolve. She appears in literature, films, and other forms of modern storytelling. Sometimes she is portrayed as purely evil, other times as a misunderstood or even helpful figure. Each retelling adds new layers to her character, but the core elements remain the same. She is still the old woman in the forest. She still lives in the hut on chicken legs. And she still challenges those who dare to seek her out. What keeps Baba Yaga relevant today is not just her strange and memorable imagery, but the ideas she represents. She reminds us that the world is not always simple or predictable. That danger and opportunity often exist side by side, and that growth often comes from facing what we fear. In a way, Baba Yaga is a mirror. She reflects the qualities of those who encounter her. To the selfish and careless, she is deadly. To the brave and respectful, she can be a source of wisdom and strength. Her stories encourage us to think differently about the unknown. Instead of seeing it only as something to avoid, they suggest that it may also be something to learn from. The forest may be dark and frightening, but it is also full of possibility. So when we think about Baba Yaga, we should not ask simply whether she is good or evil. That question does not quite apply to her. Instead, we might ask what she represents and what her stories are trying to teach us. Perhaps she is a reminder that life is full of challenges that cannot be avoided, that sometimes we must enter the forest, face our fears, and prove ourselves, and that if we do, we may come out stronger on the other side. Even now, the image of her hut standing deep in the woods continues to capture the imagination. A strange house turning slowly, waiting for someone to approach. A test waiting to be given. A mystery waiting to be understood. And somewhere inside, Baba Yaga watches and waits.